Dude, I'm watching it right now, man. It's great game from Purdue. Great game for Purdue. That's why I put them in my top five wildcard video because they're more than capable. I mean, they they have a decent front court. Clough really showed out in this game. Clough was clutch. Trey Kaufman-Renn was great for them in last year's March Madness. Then obviously they have the guard play. So I always knew they're capable. Just for whatever reason, they just couldn't guard. Somehow they decide to against Michigan. Like I'm not surprised they beat Nebraska because they have Clough and Kaufman-Renn. That's a nightmare for Nebraska. Um, I'm worried about Nebraska. They were also my wildcard video because they can't guard the paint, unfortunately. So I'm curious to see what they'll do in March. They'll probably be a 3 seed. Maybe they'll slide to a 4. But they'll more than likely be a 3 seed. So what up, Chester? But yeah, great win for Purdue. They definitely needed this. They might become a 2 now. I mean, they were looking like they might be a 4 seed coming in here. So very, very clutch for Purdue. And yeah, big win for them. Got some water here, shout out. And then once it's 6 o'clock and the bracket drops, we're pulling out the Irish drinking team hat, okay? No, funny thing about this, I'm 20 years old. I can't drink, but I got this for $1 at a uh, flea market. It was on a dollar table, so I had to snag it. But so we'll put that on during the Selection Sunday show. Thoughts on Purdue making a Final Four? I could see it. I could see it if they're firing on all cylinders. Only thing is they'll definitely run into some great shooting teams, and they've shown they can't really guard the three that well. Because Braden Smith tries, Fletcher Lawyer tries, C.J. Cox they try. They're just not the greatest defenders. So I think their ceiling's probably Elite 8. Um, we'll see what draw they get. They get a great draw. I could definitely see them make the Final Four. I wouldn't count out Purdue. Obviously, they just beat Michigan, but I've always really enjoyed watching this team this year. They just hit a rough patch. I mean, Florida had theirs really early in the season, and then look what they went on to do. So these rough patches happen, but when you're hot going to the tournament like this, it usually yields great results. So yeah, look out for Purdue. So I wouldn't say it's all that out of the realm of possibility for Purdue makes Final Four, Chester. So that's my thoughts on them making a Final Four. And then I believe USF is about to make the tournament as well. Let me double check that. Shout out USF. I'm from Florida. I root for Florida, so that'd be cool for them to make it. Yeah, they're up by 15 with 32 seconds left. So South Florida will make the tournament. They'll probably be a 12 seed, and I think they're dangerous because they pretty much have a big three. I mean, you never really hear that for a mid-major having a big three, but they got it with Isaiah Nelson. He's their power forward. He's a good defender. Throw lobs to him, very easy for him to do. And then they got Pinion, who's a tremendous shooter, and Wes Ennis is a tremendous shooter and ball handler. Arizona not making past the Sweet 16. What team would give Arizona trouble? I think I think if you have like two really solid big men, that makes a big difference. Like Joshua Jefferson always did well against Arizona. Uh UConn, even though they didn't have Terrace Reed, but they got Ryba. Um Florida had a close game. So it depends on their draw. So if they go against a couple teams with really solid big men, like even Purdue and Arizona would be a great game actually, because Purdue has Kaufman-Renn and Oscar Clough. So, but if those teams played, it would probably be Elite 8, Final Four. Uh, I don't know. I really like Arizona. I definitely see them in the Sweet 16. I like all the ones this year. I think Duke's probably the weakest because they don't have Foster anymore, which is a shame. But they still have, and they might have Patrick back and Gongba. Um, I think Duke's the weakest one. So I probably trust them the least to make the Sweet 16. I like Arizona though. I do. I like Arizona and Michigan, even though Michigan just lost, but Purdue's on fire right now. And Purdue, this is like their fourth game in 4 days. I think that helps too. When you're active, uh, it usually does very well for you in these conference tournaments. So I just think Michigan hadn't played in a while. Purdue's been playing a lot lately, and I'm not that concerned for Michigan not being able to beat Purdue. I mean, Michigan destroyed them at home, a couple weeks ago. When both of those teams were active in conference play. So um, I lean towards more that game as if they played again. I think that would happen again, but that's just me. So we got USF we got Purdue as the Big Ten champion, and then we had Penn. Penn took down Yale. I doubt Yale's gonna get an auto bid. So we have Penn in the tournament, and a name you're gonna hear, AJ Power. You're gonna hear that guy. He's gonna be the token white guy to take down all the higher seeded teams this year. So shout out to them and AJ Power. I mean, he that those last two threes he hit to give them the lead, or actually the make it 3-point game. Then he had another one to make it into overtime. I mean, they have quite a few guys that make threes. So look out for Penn. They could be Cinderella. They were definitely not on my radar for the Cinderella teams video that dropped yesterday. I was considering putting Yale. I mean, Yale was in the thumbnail. I was considering putting them, but I didn't like this Yale team compared to last year. I thought last year's team was a bit better, but yeah. So that would be cool if they could do something. Then you still have a couple Cinderella teams like Northern Iowa can maybe do something. You got I like Troy. They had a lot of close games in the regular season, but I do like this team. They have a lot of shooters on that team. They actually have a couple guys in the front court that can actually make a difference for them and help not get out rebounded as a smaller team. These mid majors always get out rebounded, but it's usually their guard play that wins them. But they have both, um, guards and big men available on this team. So I do like that about Troy. High Point's a really fun team to watch. They force a lot of turnovers, and they have some guys that can make some shots for them. What I noticed about USF, um, throughout the whole week, I've been watching a lot of their games because I just assumed they were gonna make the tournament. Sometimes you watch some of these teams and you're like, what are they good at? And then I watched USF and I'm like, immediately I knew what they're good at. I'm like, man, this team is amazing in transition. This team runs super well. And obviously they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams. I like that as well. Large part of that's Isaiah Nelson. So I like USF. I wish they were deeper. I wish they had more options off the bench, but hey, they have a legit big three, and that could take you far, especially for mid-major. All right. How much time we got left? 20 minutes, a total selection show, where I'll give my reaction to what the committee does. Will we have another Louisville and Clemson situation? I don't know if y'all remember this last year, but it was ridiculous. So Louisville had a great season last year. They finished second in the ACC tournament, second in the regular season. First was Duke, obviously, and third. The entire season that was third place, Clemson. Clemson becomes a 5. Louisville got pushed to an 8. I don't know how that makes sense. Louisville, I think they split in the regular season and Louisville beat them in the ACC tournament. I make it make sense, but hopefully we don't have another situation like that. Hopefully we don't have like North Carolina, North Carolina situation where they play in the they're one of the last 4 in, even though they didn't deserve it. I remember that team. That team was like what 3-11 in quad one games or something crazy like that. They barely had any quad one wins. So hopefully we don't have that situation again, because there was a few definite mistakes the committee made last year. Any more news? And I saw Christian Anderson of Texas Tech. He's going to be in the tournament. Thankfully, I mean that would have been brutal. You lose JT Toppin and then Christian Anderson as well, and I just feel bad because JT Toppin. I mean that Texas Tech team. I mean they were rolling. They had some of the best wins in the country. They beat Duke. They beat Houston. I mean they were rolling, and then JT Toppin went down. They did well for a little bit while he was injured, but you can't. My bad, Mike. But you can't sustain that forever without JT Toppin. You need him, so that was definitely a shame that they lost him. Um, but where I'm trying to think the ceiling for Texas Tech. Where do I see this team going? I mean, Donovan Atwell can win you games. They're gonna have Christian Anderson, Petty. They have a lot of shooters on his team. Um, forget their big man's name, but he's also pretty good. He's now their starter. So I think they could beat a lot of teams. It just depends on the draw. No, number 15. Is Florida still a contender? Absolutely. Vanderbilt is a really good team. Vanderbilt is one of the scrappiest teams in the entire country, and it's because they're small. They're a lot like McNeese, except a lot better. McNeese, they're very small, but they use it to their advantage. They get a lot of steals, so and Chinny Lou and like Condon, they have butterfingers at times, so it was kind of given that they turn the ball over a lot, and Boogie Flame or Xavier Lee didn't play well. I I'm picking them as my champ. Yeah, I I wouldn't stress on that game. Florida had been playing well. Once again, it's like Michigan. Vanderbilt played a couple games, and then they played Florida, where Florida was out for a while. They were able to. They only played 2 games, so I wouldn't stress on Florida. They're like Arizona. They don't need to make threes to win a game, and when they do, then it's like, how do you beat this team? So they definitely have they have that wild card factor, but I like rebounding. I like offensive rebounds. Those win you games, especially the early games. Like I mentioned a lot in my videos, I like big men in the first and second round, and then guard play wins you March. So bigs win early, guards win the tournament for you. Um, so Chinelu, Condon has been playing really good lately. Condon is a completely different player than he was in the beginning of the season. He was very timid. Um, he early on he was shooting a lot of threes, and once he was missing all of them, he was very timid. Wasn't even getting to the basket well. Now he's attacking that basket. He's shooting threes with no hesitation. So, um, Condon's been playing really good. Isaiah Brown's been decent for them. Clapjar is on a roll right now. I mean, there's a lot of positives for his Florida team. So I wouldn't stress on Florida. Do I think they're going to win the championship? No. Do I think they can get to the Final Four? Probably. How do I feel about Purdue after that win against Michigan? I've liked Purdue all year. They obviously had this rough patch where they couldn't guard to save their lives. But as I said earlier, some teams, every single team is going to have a little bit of a rough patch unless you're like, Duke, Michigan, and all that, Arizona. Um, every team's gonna have a little rough patch. They happen to have theirs in the bad part of the season, but now they're rolling into March on a freaking roll. So um, I've always liked this Purdue team. They have a decent front court. Oscar Clough and Trey Kaufman can grab rebounds, and they're not the greatest defenders, but they can at least score consistently in the paint, grab some rebounds, and then they have a great backcourt. Braden Smith, when he's on, can be a tremendous offensive player. Fletcher Lawyer, one of the best shooters in the country. CJ Cox is also a very solid shooter. Myers, a decent ball handler off the bench. So I've always liked this Purdue team. I could definitely see them make the Sweet 16. Um, and they were in my wild card video, but they've definitely grown on me. So I like Purdue a lot. Auto week auto bids. Do you think bracket will be chalky again like last year? I do. I do. I remember when I made I don't have my original bracket video up from last year just because I wasn't proud of the video. The quality, like my screen was like blurry, so I just wasn't proud of the video. Um, but I remember in the comments I got a lot of flack for having a chalky bracket, and I kept telling them there's no good Cinderellas this year. The best one ended up being Colorado State. Um, but they they made it to the second weekend and lost to Maryland on travel. But this is another conversation. But it was Colorado State and then like McNeese. Those were the only two Cinderellas that really had upsets. So I do think it's going to be chalky game. Um, Once again, with NIL, the top teams have the most money. They're gonna have the best players. I'm curious to see like if we'll ever have like a crazy like 2023 March Madness game where we had like four seeded UConn, number 5 Miami, number 5 San Diego State, and then number 9 FAU. I don't know if we'll ever have that again, unfortunately. Arkansas. I've also really liked this Arkansas team. Darius Acuff is one of those guys where if you're struggling as a team, he will be consistent no matter what. Billy Richmond has been playing a lot better recently. He's a good scorer as well. He's been knocking out a lot of corner threes for that team. This team's also scrappy. And then Trevor Brazil, I don't want to forget about him. Trevor Brazil is one of the best two-way players in the country. Great at blocking shots, and he made like 4 threes against Vanderbilt. So he's uh, uh, improved tremendously on his offensive game. So I like this Arkansas team. They're scrappy. What they were missing, and somehow they went to the Sweet 16 without a guy like Acuff. That's the crazy part. They made it to the Sweet 16 last year without a guy like Acuff. Boogie Flan was their main ball handler, and he's not the greatest scorer. He's a great playmaker and defender, but he's not a great scorer. So it's a miracle that team made it. That was actually the true Cinderella last year. 10 seeded Arkansas, a power conference team. Duke out for Sweet 16 from no number. I wouldn't be surprised. They are they're probably the weakest one. Caden Boozer did play well in his last game, but it's just tough. It's tough without Ngongba, and it'll really depend. I'll have to look up when Ngongba's going to return, but without Foster, a great ball handler, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. They weren't that deep, and to lose a guy like that, that's tough. Got a certified Gators fan in here, or Gators hater in here. I don't blame you because most people like consistent offense. They don't have the most consistent offense. They're a great defensive team. They're a great rebounding team. And I think that gives them a very high floor. I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. I remember a couple games in, I'm like, into the sea, I'm like, I don't see it. They went on a crazy run. But I'm a Florida fan, by the way. I picked them to win it all last year, but I don't think the SEC was that great this year. You had Alabama, terrible defensive team, great offensive team with Holloway, Philon, and all that. Arkansas is pretty good. Vanderbilt's pretty good. Tennessee is nowhere near as good as they were last year. And then after that, then you have some very mad teams like Kentucky. And Texas is decent, but they struggled a lot of seasons. So they didn't necessarily play the greatest of competition, which is crazy because SEC was so good last year. So yeah, I don't have the Gators in the Final Four. Does Texas make it in? I think they might be a last four in team. They might be playing on the 17th. Which that sucks because I really like this Texas team. They have a lot of scores on this team. A lot of good perimeter guys like Swain, Pope, and then Mark. Mark is a great shot creator as well. And then they got Volca Titus inside. So it's like they have a very good starting lineup. Not the deepest team, but I feel like they would stifle a few. Well, no, they would be in the Cinderella because they'll probably be like an 11 seed. Hey, depending on the 6 they play, I wouldn't mind Texas making a decent little run for them. How can you do a bracket from Jennifer? Just look up men's tournament challenge and then create an account. Takes 2 seconds. That's the easiest way to make a bracket. I agree. Dalen Swain he's too good for Texas. He'll be in the NBA next year. He's a lot like Trey Johnson. He has no fear. He as a freshman, very efficient scorer. Yeah, Texas has some very good freshmen past couple years. Doing a March Madness pool for a prize. Not for a prize. I'm a broke college student, so probably won't be doing a prize. But in the description of this live stream, I do have a link for the pool. I am having a pool. Forgot to mention that. So go in the description and join the TKO brackets pool. I may change the name of it. I just did it before I got in the stream, but yeah. Go in the description and join the poll if you want to. Could Nebraska be upset early? Oh, absolutely. Hey, Troy has big men. Nebraska doesn't like big men. Um, I feel like they'll be upset in the second round. I do think they'll get a win. It depends on who they play, obviously, but they don't like guarding big men. They're one of the smallest power conference teams, especially inside. So, um, but a lot of most Cinderellas don't have a lot of size, and are they gonna out guard Nebraska? Like guard play, are they gonna out guard play Nebraska? That's a tough ask. So I do think Nebraska will make it to the second weekend, unless they play like a Troy, but who has legitimate big men on there. All right. See if we can pull up CBS. Not on here, obviously copyright. Also, there's a massive thunderstorm happening right now. I'm living in Florida right now, and this if the stream goes out, you know why. All right, we got the stream up. There we go. Akron is your Cinderella pick, Tyler. I need to watch I need to watch Akron. I actually the only game I watched from them was when they played earlier against Miami, Ohio. So if you want to tell me a little bit about Akron, I wouldn't mind that. Appreciate that. I need to do some research on them. Do you think Wisconsin can win it? Wisconsin was in my sleeper contenders video. I do like Wisconsin a lot. I will say they have one of the best backcourts in the country. John Blackwell. They got Nick Boyd. Nick Boyd made the Final Four of FAU a couple years ago. Um, I always like Final Four experience on teams. I do think they can make a run for sure. I do like this Wisconsin team. I do need to look up if Nolan Winter is coming back because he is injured right now. But they've had a lot of the big step up, um, and they can all shoot. It's crazy. They can all shoot. Um, but I do like those Wisconsin team for sure. McNeese could beat them. I wouldn't be surprised. I like McNeese. They force turnovers, pressure your guards. I could see that. Wisconsin, what seed will they get? They made a decent run. Lost to Michigan by 3. I think Wisconsin will probably be a 6 seed, 6 or 5 seed. Sounds fair. They have some of the probably 5 seed. I mean, they have some of the best wins in the country. Beat Illinois, beat Michigan State twice. Beat Michigan very early in the season. Only lost to 3 by them. Uh, I want to say Wisconsin also beat Purdue, so I think Wisconsin could definitely be a 5. You go Houston every year. Is this finally a year? I don't think so. Actually, I had the finals correct last year. I did have Houston against Florida in my finals last year. I really like last year's Houston team. I still do. I like this team, and now they have a guy like Kingston Flemings who is more of a shot creator than LJ Cryer. So that is a big upgrade for them. I just don't like how they don't run plays. It's ISO ball, unfortunately. All Houston does is ISO ball. Kingston Flemings will do an ISO, or he'll just kick it out to Sharp, who will shoot a not a corner three, but a semi corner three, or Uzan will shoot one of those. They don't really run any post plays. I feel like they gave Tugger more chances. He can maybe do something. I'll have Houston go far. I always do. Usually ends well. But I don't. They may make a Final Four. I'm not really sure. They did have a great comeback against Arizona, though. They played hard. I mean, that's the thing about Houston. They always play hard. They always make it close. So it's hard to it's really hard to count a team like that out. Right. All right. Selection Sunday show is very soon, guys, and once it the show does start, we'll be putting this hat on, the Ireland Draken team hat, honor St. Patty's Day. Got this for $1 at a flea market, and I'm not even 21, so make it make sense. It even has a bottle opener. Best dollar hat you'll ever find right here. And I'm also Irish and Scottish, so gotta rep it. What else happened in Big 12? Kansas. I want to talk about Kansas. Kansas is a very interesting team. You make 100 brackets. No, I. You don't want to know how many. I have a Google Doc of all like the email accounts I've ever created, and I'm gonna make a crap ton of brackets. Let me tell you. I think it was like 13 email accounts I had ready, lined up to make accounts for. So do the math. That's how many brackets I'll have because I'm trying to get the 135 or whatever they're paying out for whoever gets the best bracket. Trying to pay my college off. Um, so best believe I will be trying to get a perfect bracket. So hopefully one of them hits. Um, Probably won't, but it's worth a shot. It is crazy, but I want to pay off college. Going to college for physical therapy right now. Physical therapy assistant. It's not cheap, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. 19 games is great. 19 games is good. Half the time it's people's brackets die within like 10, so uh, nothing to be ashamed of. Right. It's almost time for the Selection Sunday show. Right now I'm still looking at Florida local weather on CBS. Oh yeah, those were some teams. Princeton and Furman. I hope everyone picked Furman to beat Virginia that year. That was like the most obvious like upset like of all time, in my opinion. Um, Virginia definitely didn't deserve to be a 4 that year, so yeah. And then Princeton, they took down Arizona and they took down another team as well. So they made it to the Sweet 16. That was crazy for them. I don't think Arizona will go down the first round this year though. They're really good. All right, try and pull this up and watch this. All right, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Your best is 10. We're gonna make it 10 plus this year. We're gonna try to help you all build some good brackets. Who's your pick and favorite to win the title? I I like even though Michigan just lost, I do like Michigan. Sucks they don't have Kaysen now. Um, I do like Arizona. I like some of the twos. I don't think Michigan State will make the Final Four, but I think they'll make like an Elite Eight. It really depends on the draw, but right now I'm leaning towards Michigan, Arizona. I don't think Florida will win it all. I don't think Duke will win it all. I don't think Houston will win it all. I think Michigan State might be one of the best. If they are two, they might be a three to be honest. Um, St. Louis. From everything I've seen, St. Louis should get in, even though I don't think they necessarily should get in. I'll be honest. VCU got the auto bid. Like St. Louis, They had a great. They were like 22-1 at one point. That they've been losing lately. They should get in. I don't want to say something crazy like that. They should get in, but they're definitely more of a sleeper contender now. They're still at number one for me because they have been losing, makes them even more of a sleeper. But I hope St. Louis does something. All right, it's about to switch over from local to Selection Sunday show. Okay. East region number one overall seed is officially Duke, y'all. Number one overall seed is Duke. Selection Sunday show just started. I'm TKO Takes, and I hope y'all have fun and ask me any questions you have for bracket help. Yeah, 28 wins is great for mid-major like that. And Duke will take on Siena in the East region. So the of your bracket, the top left, Duke number one overall seed will take on Siena. And Ohio State made it. Ohio State is the 8th seed. Look out for that upset right there. Duke is a great season. Couple injuries, not that deep. Ohio State could take them down. Ooh, that's a great game. So, East region, Duke number one, and the 8 and 9 is Ohio State and TCU. That's a great game. And then we got St. John's, still a 5 seed. I do have a tournament group. Go into the description of this live stream and you'll see the link. I do have a tournament group. Good question. What's going on, Steven? So yeah, St. John's is a 5 and the best 5 according to where they are in the bracket. They're taking on Northern Iowa. That's a great game. That's a great game. Northern Iowa was in my top 5 Cinderellas this year, so that'll be an interesting game. So Duke, Siena, Ohio State, TCU, and St. John's, Northern Iowa so far. And we got Kansas in the... Oh, this region is loaded so far. And Cal Baptist will take on Kansas in the first round. So Kansas is the 4 in Duke's region. I really like Kansas, by the way. I really like Kansas. Louisville is still a 6 somehow. They probably should have been a 7, but I'm fine with them there. Oh, Louisville, South Florida. That's a game. Unlucky for Louisville to get South Florida. Louisville, South Florida will be the 6-11 matchup. And number 3 in the Duke region is Michigan State right now. Louisville, South Florida. That's going to be a game. Yeah, Michigan's a 3. I thought they could have been a 2, but they did lose to Wisconsin, unfortunately. But they were on a roll. I think Michigan State could be a 2, but North Dakota State will take on Michigan State. That'll be an interesting game. I don't know if North Dakota has the bigs to take on Kohler and Cooper. UCLA got to a 7. They were a 10 seed at one point, and they made it to 7. So, great job, UCLA. They were my number 2 sleeper contender. UCLA, UCF. That's a good game. That's a good game. Famous Fultz and company will take on UCLA in the 7-10 matchup. This is a great region. This East region is tremendous. And I almost forgot. Irish Drinking Team hats coming on. UConn is the 2. UConn is the 2 in this region. Yeah, these are all games. This is a great region. So UConn's going to take on Furman. UConn's in the 2 in the Duke region. We'll see how the rest turns out, but this might end up being the best region in the tournament. A lot of great teams here. It's March, y'all. Selection Sunday right now. All right. Just to recap, we got Duke as the 1. Ohio State will take on TCU in the 8-9 matchup. We got St. John's will take on Northern Iowa. That's a great game. Kansas will take on Cal Baptist. Great region. And then Louisville, USF. That's a tremendous game. USF just got the final automatic bid. And UCLA would take on UCF in the 7-10, and UConn would take on Furman in the 2-15 matchup. Man, I'm ready to start making brackets. Like I said earlier, I got 13 emails lined up, about to make some crazy number of brackets. Make sure to drink your water, y'all. You know I got a drinking hat on. I can't drink legally. I don't know, man. UCLA could take out UConn. Just saying. Uh, UConn struggles with size, and then UCLA doesn't have size. They basically run. Their tallest guy is like 6'8". They've been running Bill Odo at the center, and it's been working for them. Their offense has been tremendous. So I could see UCLA taking on UConn. Probably unlikely because UConn's weakness is when they go against big men. So we'll see. So that was the East region. Great stuff there. So I'm saying hydrate. And then now they're on commercial break, but that how are you gonna top that region? You got Duke, USF, you got Louisville, you got UConn, Michigan State, Duke, and UConn the same region is crazy. I could definitely see Ohio State beat Duke. I could see it. Will I pick it? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised at seeing that. You just need one crazy game from I forget his name. You know, the best guy on Ohio State. He deserves it. He's been with them for several years. Look up his name. I don't know why I forgot his name. I think it'd be easy to find the roster. First year college soups, and all the picks seem so much harder. Yeah, it trying to get a good March Madness bracket is tremendous. I got lucky last year because last year was a crazy, um chalk bracket. Remember a lot of people got on me for having a chalky bracket, and it's like I don't see the Cinderellas, I just didn't see the Cinderellas, because with NIL, players getting paid now, it means the top schools, they have the most money, they have the most donors, you know. Yeah, Ohio State being ahead of TCU is kind of crazy. Ohio State should not be ahead of TCU. TCU has some great wins. They beat Florida. They beat Iowa State. They won a couple games in the Big 12 tournament. So yeah, yeah. I don't think Ohio State should have been 8 seed. I thought they were lucky to get a 9 seed. I thought they would probably be a 10, but that one against Purdue, I guess, did it for the committee. But they're a dangerous team. Ohio State's a dangerous team. Duke isn't I'm saying this even though Duke is the #1 overall seed. I don't think they're the strongest one. I think Michigan State and not Michigan State. I think Michigan and Arizona are better than Duke. Even though Duke beat Michigan, Duke doesn't have Foster now, and Gongba's questionable. So we'll see. All right, they're back now. The 4 was Kansas. The 4 was Kansas. No number. All right, upper right quadrant. And we got Arizona as the 1 seed. No surprise here. That Jaden Bradley game winner, that was just the cherry on top for a tremendous 32-2 season for them. And this is going to be in the West, so Arizona's going to be eating good there. Oh, it's in California. Yeah, they don't barely got to travel. They'll take on LIU. If I watch LIU, I don't think I watch LIU. I don't care if they're a 16 seed. I'm still gonna watch them before I make a pick. And Villanova is the 8 in this Arizona west side of the bracket. And they'll take on Utah State. Once again, these 8-9s are so tough to pick. Villanova, Perry is a great. They have quite a few guards that can score. Utah State is amazing in transition. They have some solid big men. That's a tough game. They do more research for make a claim. And the 5 is gonna be Wisconsin, so good for them. They were a couple weeks ago. They were a 7. Now they're a 5. Good for them. I really like the Badgers this year. And they're gonna take on High Point. That's a great game. A lot of great guard play will be in this 5-12 matchup. Wisconsin versus High Point is the 5-12 in the West region, the Arizona side of the bracket. Badgers do not suck. They just took out Illinois twice this season, beat Michigan State twice, beat Michigan. They're not buns. Arkansas, now a 4 seed, well deserved. They won the SEC tournament. Had a great game against Vanderbilt. Arkansas take on Hawaii. I was literally going to talk about Hawaii. Hawaii's not going to win that game, allegedly. Because Hawaii doesn't help. You have to help against Darius Acuff. They're not going to help, and Darius Acuff is going to destroy Hawaii, in my opinion. And the 6th seed is going to be BYU. BYU's a 6th seed. It's crazy they're still a 6th seed with all the losses they took. All right, 2 bubble teams. Texas, NC State, that's fair. NC State did not deserve to have an auto bid. Texas was close, but they lost in the first round of the SEC tournament. They were already a bubble team, so I'm fine with them being a bubble team. I think Texas wins that game. And Gonzaga will be the 3 in this region. This is also a pretty nice region. I could see BYU taking out Gonzaga. And Gonzaga will take on Kennesaw State in the 3-14 matchup in the West region, the Arizona region. Miami, Florida, not Ohio. Miami of Florida is a 7 seed. A great 7 seed. I like Miami. Missouri got in. Missouri will be a 10. Missouri will be a 10. I'm fine with that. Missouri had a pretty good season. Lost to Kentucky, unfortunately. They shouldn't have lost to Kentucky. That you had to win that game, but and Purdue's a 2 seed. I guess Purdue's a 2 seed. I think Michigan State should have been a 2. Purdue probably should have been the best 3, but that's just me. And I'll take on Queens. So in this region, we got Arizona, Purdue, Gonzaga, BYU's 6, 5 is Wisconsin, Arkansas is a 4, so another pretty solid region. Yeah, Purdue is a 2 seed's kind of crazy. I'm with you there. And then we got the 8-9 is Villanova, Utah State. That's a very close game. Wisconsin High Point will also be pretty close. I think High Point can be on somewhat the same level of guard play, force some turnovers. So that should be a good game. I think Arkansas is gonna tear apart Hawaii. Hawaii will do well against teams that don't have great isolation scores. However, unfortunately, Arkansas has Darius Acuff, and that's just that's bad news for Hawaii. Yeah, Purdue can shoot, man. I've liked Purdue all season. They're not the greatest defensive team, but their offense is so good. It's basically like Illinois. It just makes up for it. I don't think Purdue will go to the Final Four. I think Purdue's ceiling is Elite Eight. But if they did go to the Final Four, I wouldn't be crazy surprised. Purdue's still a great team. A lot of experience on that team. Decent front court. Great guard play. So definitely look out for Purdue. I could see BYU taking on Gonzaga. I'm not that high on the Zags this year. I think they were number 1 in my overrated teams. So interesting side of the bracket, the west side of the bracket. and they're going to commercial break again. So two regions down so far. Ones we got Duke and Arizona. Our twos have been Purdue and UConn. UConn end up being a two, and I think that confirms that Florida will be the one seed. There was no other team in contention for the final one seed besides Florida and UConn. So Florida gets the one unofficially. Yeah, Purdue definitely did get hot at the right time, and like I said in my top five facts video, momentum does very well for you. Just look at last year. BYU was very craps throughout the first part of the season, and they caught fire at the end of the Big 12 season, and then they went to the finals in the Big 12 tournament. They ended up making it to the Sweet 16, I believe. Michigan is a great example last year. We all crapped on them. We all crapped on them. Then they ended up. Did they win? Yeah, Michigan ended up winning the Big Ten tournament, and then they made it to the Sweet 16, lost to Auburn. So, or was it Elite Eight? I don't know, but Michigan made it far in last year's tournament, and momentum is a huge thing in a March Madness. Hurley's temper is a liability for UConn. I, he's a super experienced coach. I think he should get his stuff together, but I don't see that being a reason they will lose. I think a reason they will lose is because they make it they play with the competition they play. Like they play to the level of the competition they play. They make it close against very bad teams, and it finally bit them against Marquette. Um, you can't just keep making it close against these bad teams. You're UConn. Go destroy them. And then you're winning by two. So it finally bit them against Marquette. And then they did lose to St. John's by 20. So UConn's not playing that well, which is weird because they have a great team. Alex Carabin is a great scorer. Solo Ball is an excellent shooter for them. They have two solid centers and Terrace Reed and Ryba. They can grab rebounds, defend the rim. Silas Demery can get you buckets. So, and then Braylon Mullins is a solid bucket getter too. So, UConn has some options. So, it's a shame why they're not playing well. But maybe they'll redeem themselves this year in the tournament. Yeah, I think Michigan will be out for blood. Every time they've lost, they've rebounded insanely well. So I wouldn't be concerned about Michigan. Louisville got a 6 seed in the East region. They'll be in Duke's side of the bracket. Louisville was a 6. They're going to take on number 11 seed South Florida. That's going to be a great game. Both teams play fast. I could see USF pulling out that upset. I'm going to be real. Louisville doesn't have great paint defense. They don't have great big men in general. Fru's an okay big man, but Grant Nelson is a great big man. I could see him out rebounding Louisville, and then Wes Ennis can score on the same level as Michael Brown Jr. So that this is coming from the guy that barely picked any upsets last year. So that's an upset I would definitely look at. Yeah, I think I picked High Point to beat Purdue last year. That was one of my few upsets. It ended up being right next. The actual upset ended up being right next to them. It was Clemson McNeese, but not a lot of people saw that coming. Clemson was really good last year, but they scored 13 points in the first half and almost rebounded. But it's hard to make up such a big deficit. And Michigan is our third number one seed. Our one so far is Duke, Arizona, Michigan. No surprise here. Coming off a loss of Purdue, but Purdue's a good team. I wouldn't be concerned for Michigan. And they're going to take on either UMBC or Howard University. So that'll be a first four game for the 16 seed. 8 seed here is going to be Georgia. Georgia back-to-back 8 seeds, I believe. I think they might have been a 9 last year, but they were in the 8-9 matchup. They'll take on St. Louis. That's going to be a crazy offensive game. That's a crazy offensive game right there. So, um, who do I see winning that? Surreal might cook them. Surreal might cook them. I'll probably pick St. Louis in that matchup, but Surreal will probably have a great game for Georgia. And Texas Tech slides to a 5 seed for the JT Top injury. They were a lock for a 4-3 seed, fortunately. So Texas Tech falls to a 5. They're gonna take on Akron. That's a good game right there. I need to do some research on Akron. They won the MAC, so good for Akron. I'll do some research on them. I think Texas Tech is good enough to still win. They still have Christian Anderson will play. They have Donovan Atwell. They have Petty. They have a lot of good scores. And Alabama will be the 4 seed in this Michigan side of the bracket. We got Michigan as a 1, 8 and 9 is Georgia, St. Louis, and then we got Texas Tech as a 5 taking on Akron. And oh my goodness, Alabama's gonna take on Hofstra. Whoever makes the most threes is gonna win this game. That look, you thought St. Louis, Georgia was gonna be a great offensive game. Wait till you check out Alabama Hofstra. That's gonna be a freaking game. For whoever makes more threes will win that game. That's for sure. I agree with you. Dayton beat St. Louis twice, and St. Louis lost to Rhode Island. They lost to George Mason, I believe. I agree. Dayton, should be on the same level as St. Louis for sure. I'm with you, man. Oh my goodness, Tennessee's gonna take on Miami of Ohio. For years, what has been Tennessee's weakness? Guarded a 3-point line, but Nate Admit's gonna drop 30 in this game. Oh no, no. Miami didn't get in officially. It's Miami, Ohio versus SMU. Oh, man. Miami, Ohio didn't get in even though they lost once this season. Look, I get Miami will probably not win if they get in, but on the same level of SMU, Miami of Ohio is a first is a is playing on the 17th. Last 4 in. Wow. Miami of Ohio will take on SMU to determine the 11 seed, guys. That's crazy. Well, we'll talk about that a lot later. But Virginia will take on Wright State in the 3-14 game. I mean, here's a great game. 7 versus 10. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. That's an interesting game. That is a close game right there. That I'm going to think long and hard about. Kentucky versus Santa Clara. Solid game. But yeah, Tennessee will take on either Miami, Ohio, or SMU. Wow. Miami didn't get in with a at-large bid. That's crazy. And then the 2 seed in this region is Iowa State. Who will be the 15? Iowa State's the 2 in this region. Yeah, the committee did give Miami at least that. They did give them the uh in Dayton, so they will be in Ohio. So if they were not going to give them an at-large, then that's fair enough. And then Iowa State's going to take on Tennessee State in the 2-15 matchup. And then back to recap earlier, Michigan will take on UMBC or Howard in the 1-16. 8 versus 9 is Georgia St. Louis. That's going to be a heck of a game. Texas Tech will take on Akron, and Alabama will take on Hofstra. Look out for Hofstra. They can make threes, let me tell you. Wow. I mean, it is kind of fair. They did give Miami, Ohio, in the Midwest region. They are going to play in Dayton. They're going to take, but does SMU really deserve to be in the tournament? Decent team. I like Boopy Miller. I like Jaron Pierre. I don't know, man. But either way, both of those teams could easily beat very well. So I'm gonna have a lot of brackets where the 11 moves on. And then Virginia will take on Wright State, and the 7v10 in the Midwest region is Kentucky versus Santa Clara, and then Iowa State will take on Tennessee State. Kentucky Santa Clara is a very close game. Santa Clara has a lot of really good scoring guards. Alan Graves is a solid forward. He can maybe guard Otega Owe, maybe. I don't know. I think Kentucky was gonna. I think people are gonna pick Santa Clara a lot, but Kentucky, I do think is still underrated. So don't count them completely out. But yeah, they're gonna go commercial break once again. So yeah, let's talk about Miami of Ohio, y'all. What do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about Miami, Ohio? I think that's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair. SMU and Miami on the same level. Now that I'm thinking about it more, yeah, that's gonna be a close game. Man, if SMU just had like a really good big man, I'd confidently pick them. But trying to outguard, trying to outguard play Miami, Ohio is a tough ask for sure. Um, yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of brackets where the 11 beats Tennessee because Tennessee is very beatable this year. Yeah, I've watched a ton of Miami Ohio games. Even like once I saw they were like 16-0, I'm like I'm gonna keep my eye on this team. They're just such a weird team. They have so many shooters. This team is deep, full of shooters. Um, but they can't guard the paint. That's my only fear if they do win against SMU. If they take on Tennessee, like Nate Ament might drop 30. Felix Okpara might grab 20 rebounds. Carey might grab 10 rebounds off the bench. So that is that's the only thing about this team, man. They can't guard. Um, every single game was in the 90s. I feel like they really blow teams out. You know. Yeah, it is pretty much gonna be a home game. I agree with you there. It is going to be very much a home game for them. So I think that was fair. That was very fair of the committee. SU Miami Ohio were two bubble teams, so um, let's really give Miami an advantage. They are the smaller school, mid major. Give them a home game basically. See what SMU can do against them. But man, the guard play in that game is gonna be crazy. Boopy Miller, Jaron Pierre taking on Ian Elmer, Luke Skaljak and company. That's gonna be a great game. And then yeah, our ones so far. We have one region left so far. Ones have been Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and I assume Florida will be the final one seed because UConn is the 2 seed and the Duke side of the bracket. So uh that pretty much confirms that Florida is gonna be the final one seed. Yeah, SMU could overpower them for sure. I believe they have better big men than Miami, Ohio. I can't think of their big men off the top of my mind, but I'm pretty confident they have better big men. So that's gonna be a very close game. So if you're making a crap ton of brackets like me, definitely have a lot of have like 40% of the brackets have the 11 beat Tennessee. I would say because that could very well happen. But can either of those teams be the Cinderella this year? That's what I'm trying to figure out because I don't know about Cinderellas this year again, twice in a row. There are more Cinderella opportunities, especially South Florida. All right, we got one region left. They are back from commercial break. They're about to reveal the final region. All right. The final one seed is the Florida Gators. They deserve it. Even though they lost to Vanderbilt, that's still a very good team. And UConn lost to St. John's as well. And recently lost to Marquette. So I think Florida still deserves to be the one seed. So congrats to the Gators. No bias here from the guy that is a Florida fan. No. No idea what you're talking about. All right, and they'll take on either Prairie View or Lehigh in this 16 matchup. Shout out to Prairie View. They were 8 seed in their tournament and they ended up winning the conference tournament. And Clemson will take on they haven't revealed it yet, but Clemson is the 8th seed in the South region. They'll take on Iowa. I'm probably gonna go. That's actually a close game because Godfrey is a great rebounding big. Iowa doesn't rebound. I'll probably go Iowa on that, but that's a close game. And Vanderbilt is the 5 seed. They just finished second in the SEC tournament to Arkansas, so good for them. I like Vanderbilt. They're super scrappy. They don't use the fact that they're small as a disadvantage. And they'll take on McNeese. Oh, the guard play is gonna be crazy. That's gonna be a great game. Vanderbilt, McNeese, and Nebraska falls to a 4. That's pretty much fair. I probably would have put them as a 4 seed. Nebraska is a 4 seed in 2026. Crazy timeline we're in. I like this team. Only thing is, we'll see who this 13 seed is. We'll see who it is. Oh man. Hey, y'all remember who I had in my top 5 Cinderella teams? You know, Troy. It'll be Nebraska against Troy. I might pick Troy in that one, I'll be honest. Troy has solid big men. And the 6 in this region will be North Carolina. Clemson does play hard. And VCU take on North Carolina 6v11. All right. Yeah, VCU ended up winning their tournament instead of St. Louis. So the fact that St. Louis is a higher seed in VCU, can someone make sense of that? You know, can someone please make sense of that? And then Illinois is the 3 seed in this region, and they'll take on Penn. Shout out to Penn. They just won their conference tournament against Yale. AJ Power. Remember that name if they beat Illinois. AJ Power is a tremendous shooter and shot maker for Illinois. All right. Let's see who will be the 7 seed in the South region. St. Mary's will take on, let's see who they'll take on. St. Mary's is a decent team this year. I'm taking St. Mary's beat Texas A&M. That's a 7-10 matchup in the South. I'm taking St. Mary's against Texas A&M. I don't like Texas A&M this year, so I will be picking St. Mary's to beat them. And Houston is the 2 seed. One of my favorite teams in the past couple years to pick, to go far. It's usually worked out for me. Houston will be the 2 seed. And we'll see who the 15 seed is. Idaho. I need to do some research on Idaho. I haven't watched Idaho this year, but they will take on Houston in a 2v15 matchup in the South region. VCU is dangerous. And yeah, I'm gonna have Nebraska go far in a lot of my brackets, but in my main one, I can't trust them. They don't do well against teams with big men. Troy has good big men, so that'll be a close game. But that is Selection Sunday, y'all. Just to recap, we got Clemson, Iowa in the 8v9, Vanderbilt, McNeese, Nebraska, Troy. Decent region. So that was Selection Sunday, y'all. Interesting stuff. VCU being ranked lower than St. Louis is kind of crazy. Miami, Ohio, we'll have to play a game before they become an 11 seed. Hey, I picked Houston to go to the national championship last year. I'm definitely not going to sell them short. The fact they're in the same region as Florida is pretty cool, though. We might see that rematch this year again. But that's gonna be it for me, y'all. I'm gonna hop off here. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Maybe I'll do some more live streams, but I gotta start making some brackets. So hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and thank you to everyone who decided to tune in. And God bless you all. Have a great day, and make sure to fill out those brackets, y'all.